They tried it last year and pulled it. Now Johns Hopkins University is restarting the process to fight for its own police force. This time they're getting much public input. WMAR2 News' Abby Isaacs has the details on what the process looks like now moving forward. Abby?
Well, Kelly, officials with the biggest employer in the city says they want to change the equation and decrease crime on their campuses. Today, the Johns Hopkins University president asked the Baltimore City Council to support their plan to introduce legislation next session, creating a sworn police force. But they'll continue to hold community meetings, getting input on other ways to improve security without one.
It's a real tragedy when people can't take advantage of these services because they fear for their security.
Johns Hopkins University President Ronald Daniels says that's a product of crime around their campus, keeping potential students and patients away.
We have heard more than a few stories that other institutions are playing up the challenges of Baltimore and discouraging their patients to come to Baltimore for treatment.
Daniels told the Baltimore City Council at their luncheon that despite increasing private security funding, armed robberies and crime remain stubbornly high, including an attack of a prospective employee they were recruiting. And he says criminals are becoming more brazen, showing private security is no longer having a deterrent effect.
Last year in particular, around the Homewood campus, we had, and both actually Homewood and the East Baltimore campus, a number of armed holdups, but significantly not happening late at night, but happening during the day, often with people on the street nearby.
That's why he's asking the council to support and guide legislation to create the school's own police force of 100 sworn-in officers. JHU helped introduce similar legislation last session, but they had to pull it because of some backlash.
It was late and it was rushed.
But Councilwoman Mary Pat Clark, who represents the district the university is in, understands the need to do something.
I know about those crime numbers very personally and up front. We have problems. The question is, does this mitigate, reduce the problems?
Now school officials are looking for feedback before the legislation is drafted.
They're meeting with community groups now to get input, to get what people want or don't want or want to see. They're doing everything they can this time around to do it in stages, to listen, to reflect.
Now, I spoke to some students on campus today who instead believe in investing in surrounding communities to stop the crime. Another believes the campus is already in a quote-unquote bubble from the rest of the city and thinks a police force would further separate them. And still, some believe their current security is understaffed and a force could help. President Daniels says a comprehensive crime report should be out by Christmas, and those results will help shape their legislation.